All right, welcome back to Riley. So today we are reacting to the news of Damar Hamlin, who suffered cardiac arrest against the game against the Bengals. So
yep, and we're also going to touch on what Skip Bayless tweeted and how some people, in my opinion, I can't say our opinion, in my opinion,
it's opinion,
how they overreacted to what he tweeted.
Yes.
So let's get into it.
All right, so if you weren't watching, or if you were watching, Damar Hamlin, he got tackled and he got hit right in the chest, and he went to stand up and then he collapsed right in the field. So once he collapsed, he went into cardiac arrest, and they had to do CPR on him on the field. They said they were doing CPR for about 9 minutes before he got his heartbeat back, and they were able to resuscitate him on the field. So can you imagine being out there with them and seeing your teammate or seeing somebody or just anyone? He basically lost his life on the field and was brought back to life. Brought back to life right on the field. So let's do a quick shout out to the medical team that was right there on the field for them, for him, who was very critical in saving his life that day. So that happened right in the first quarter of the game, and it is speculating that it was commotio cordis, which I can't explain it, so I'm gonna go ahead and let a doctor explain it.
What we saw happen tonight is not related to any sort of vaccines. This is almost certainly something called commotio cordis, an extremely rare condition that's one of those things that we typically only think we're going to read about in textbooks. This is a tracing of our heart's electrical activity. Basically, this is one cycle of the heart squeezing. It starts off with this P wave, which is the electrical activity of the atrium at the top of the heart squeezing, then the QRS complex, which is going to be the ventricles acting, but then the last phase is this T wave, where the ventricle basically depolarizes and kind of resets to get ready for the next cycle. For commotio cordis to happen, you have to suffer this blunt trauma to the chest at exactly the right moment, specifically on this upstroke of the T wave, in order for the heart to then be sent into this arrhythmia and subsequent cardiac arrest.
So as you guys can tell there, he said it's commotio cordis, right? It's really hard to say. Now, a lot of people are speculating on Twitter and on social media that it was actually part of the vaccine, as he covered in there that it wasn't, and didn't have anything to do with the vaccine. That's very tragic. We're actually going to put a link down in the description so you can watch the full video, and also we're going to put a link down in the description to donate to his cause. I don't know if it's still going to be open when this video goes, but if it is, it'll be in there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that it started with a toy drive, and the goal, I think, was like $2,500 or something like that, but now it's like $5 million. So if you want to donate to the cause, we're definitely going to link it. So
yeah,
we do that.
So another portion to this story is that's also been tearing Twitter up is Skip Bayless' tweet, right? I put his tweet right up here. So what Skip Bayless tweeted was, and I quote, you guys can read with me: "No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant." So there was a lot of fire, and I'll post everything right here around us of what people were saying concerning this tweet. But if you know who Skip Bayless is and you read this tweet without much emotion, just on the merit of what it says, to break it down, he says, "No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how?" The reason why he was saying that is he was talking about if they postpone this game and they postpone all of the last games?
I think it's just this particular game, not all of them.
So just this particular game. If they postpone this game with only 1 week to go in the regular season, how it's going to throw off
the playoffs.
How it's going to throw off the playoffs. But that wasn't his point. His point was, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. The reason why he said it seems so irrelevant is because we have a guy laying on the field in cardiac arrest, right? So it wasn't so much about the game. It was more, the game is not important as this man's life.
Right.
But people are, before Skip Bayless, there are fans that are out there who wanted the game to continue to go. They were sitting in the stands saying that. There were people on the teams who also thought that the game would keep going and what their standings would be if they didn't play the game. So he was just reiterating that with all of that doubt with the game that's going on at hand and the games going forward, how the season would fall in everybody else's mind, that's not relevant right now to this young man's life that's on the field.
Right. And it's not.
So that was pretty much the point. So everybody was running to Twitter, or a lot of people were running to Twitter trying to flame Skip Bayless. if anybody watched Undisputed, I don't know, this probably was yesterday when I put this video out, right? So if you guys watch Undisputed, Shannon Sharp also was not up there. I don't know if that had anything to do with what Skip Bayless said, but it was kind of weird for Shannon not to be on the show. He's always there.
So you personally think he meant no ill intent behind the message?
Oh no, yeah, I don't. For me, looking in, even when I read it as maybe if he put quotes in there, maybe it would have eased some tension and stuff like that for his quotations. Though he didn't, but if you just read it, and even if you didn't read it, but you listen to what he had to say on Undisputed or his response after his tweet on Twitter, he did a follow-up tweet, which I'll post it right here. He's basically saying that it had nothing to do with him being more for the game than this young man's life. It was more about all the stuff that everybody is so concerned about, the adamant fans of the game, the CEOs, the general managers of NFL, you know, their concerns are not relevant to this young man's life. And that's really what it is. So, I mean, there were celebrities, there were big time sports analysts and stuff like that were commenting on what Skip Bayless said. He's not a monster, right? So anybody else who've been like, oh, he should have just kept it to himself or whatever like that, what he said was actually good. You know what I'm saying?
So what y'all think? And make sure you leave it in the comments so you can let us know if you thought he was out of line or if you feel like people were kind of overreacting to what they read about what he said. I want to make sure we do an update. Last I read that Damar Hamlin, he was breathing about where he needed 100% oxygen machines. He's now at 50%, and they're trying to get him back to breathing and get him back into a good stable. He's stable, but he's still in critical condition. So our prayers is going out to him, out to his family, and prayers out to the teammates and everybody who was at the game that day, because it was a tragic situation and probably very traumatic for everybody on the field.
Definitely want to lift up him and his family. And you guys just going out there, know that not every day is promised to you or your loved ones, so keep them near. All right, so you guys let us know down in the comments what you guys think. Also, you guys, if you guys have any words of encouragement for his family, you guys can leave that down in the comments as well. Please like, share this, comment, and yeah, that's it.
And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe.
Yes. I almost forgot. Yep. Anyways, we are Rightly So. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.